For those with a passion for the sea, who seek to discover what lies beneath, comes the opportunity of a lifetime to explore the underwater paradise on board the Ocean Adventurer. Each episode, Captain David de Villiers and his crew, First Mate Roddy Tor and international freedivers Hunley Prinsloo and Peter Marshall, meet up with an adventurer on a personal quest.
That was amazing!
To investigate unparalleled biodiversity and wildlife in the unique marine ecosystem at the spiritual southernmost tip of Africa. The Cape of Storms is surrounded by hidden reefs and formidable seas. It's a place where legends are born, where mariners share tales of ghostly ships crewed by tormented sailors. But for the Ocean Adventurer and her intrepid crew, it is the place to get closer than ever before to the animals of the deep. It's the place for full immersion and daring escapades. It's the ultimate playground. All aboard the Ocean Adventurer. This time on Ocean Adventurer, one ocean lover takes the plunge into the deep end. Although his life is connected to the sea, his relationship to the marine environment is based on fear. A fear that David and the crew aim to help him overcome.
Another one deep down by the chum bucket. Deep diver!
I never thought that I would actually go out at sea, in the deep sea, and dive with sharks.
Expertly steering his boat around the rugged Cape coastline, taking our adventurers on a voyage of discovery, is Captain David de Villiers.
I grew up here in the Cape of Storms. It's been my playground since I was just a wee little guy.
South African freediving record holder Hunley Prinsloo has committed her life to conserving and protecting the ocean. She will safely guide our adventurers into its depths.
I love the ocean. I love everything that is beneath the waves. And when you take one breath and go down, a whole world opens up for you. And the amount of freediving I've done around the world has just led me to truly believe that it needs to be protected.
Peter Marshall is an American world champion swimmer. Hunley and Peter share an affinity with water. They're a match made in the ocean.
Year in and year out of competing on the US team, I got a little bit over being in the pool, and being around the ocean and diving with Hanley, just made me fall in love with the water again.
Hunley and Peter are great to have on the team. They bring so much professionalism with them, and it brings a lot of confidence to the guys that we're introducing to the environment, that they know they've got this incredible team surrounding them.
Also on board is David's right-hand man, surfer Roddy Tor.
My relationship with the ocean goes back a long way. I started surfing at the age of 7, and I did a lot of diving from a young age as well. My dad was a big diver. He instilled a passion for the sea and the love of the sea in me, I guess. So I've always had a very close relationship with the sea, and I've never really pushed myself in diving at all. I've always just stayed well within my limits. And now recently I did this free diving course with Peter and Hanley, and that's really taken my diving to another level.
At the tip of Africa, the oceans teem with life. Below the surface, there is unmatched biodiversity, brought about by upwelling that pushes nutrients to the surface from the ocean floor. The circle of life begins with the tiniest of creatures. Here in this watery wilderness, plankton flourish, attracting fish. These in turn attract larger animals like seals and whales. At the top of the food chain are the apex predators, the sharks. There are over 100 different species in South African waters. Around the Cape, you're likely to see anything from the smallest pajama sharks to the largest great whites. One of the most unique encounters you can have is with a seven-gill shark. Very little is known about these animals, and False Bay is one of the only places in the world where these sharks can be seen. They live in the kelp forests around the Cape and attract large numbers of scuba divers. They may seem docile, but for animals that have a similar diet to great whites, appearances can be deceiving. Scientists are currently working on raising the profile of the seven-gill, as commercial exploitation of these sharks is not restricted in South Africa, and they're vulnerable to fishing, having previously been targeted. However, sharks share their environment with an expanding human population, many of whom in this part of the world love the ocean just as much as these sleek hunters. Sharks fascinate and terrify people, none more than the great white shark, with a fearsome reputation as a man-eater. For our seasoned crew, sharks inspire awe and respect. But someone who has a very different relationship with sharks is our adventurer, local shark spotter and lifesaver, Monwa. Born and bred in Cape Town in a township near Muizenberg, he spent his childhood swimming and playing at the beach during the school holidays. Being a strong swimmer, he was recruited as a lifesaver as a teenager. After all the time he spent at the seaside, he still did not know much about marine wildlife.
The sharks and stuff like that, nah, we knew very little about them. We didn't even know that there were sharks. We thought maybe like sharks were things that were like existed in places like America and all of those places, but not in Cape Town. Up until 2004, actually, when I got to hear there was a shark bite in Muizenberg. Late the same year, the shark spotting program came about, and that's how I came in as a shark spotter. I remember my very first day, I had 3 sharks on my site. Well, it was my very first sharks to see, like in real life. It was quite a good experience. It's like I expected them, like if you see one, they will just bite to eat people, of which that was never the case. That was, I was so surprised with all of that. And I saw them cruising, just minding their daily business. So I just look at shark bites as just one unfortunate incident. And at the same time, we need to consider the number of people that uses the water on a daily basis. And you look at the sharks out there, you know. I think if we had sharks as man-eaters, we were definitely going to have shark bites almost every day.
Muizenberg Beach is probably one of our most popular surfing beaches, and what's really interesting is to know that the sharks that we have in Cape Town, the great white sharks in False Bay, are always swimming up and down the back line, and there have probably been 2 or 3 shark attacks here over the last 10 years, which, if you think about it, is not a lot considering the amount of people in the water and the amount of sharks that swim here probably on a daily basis. The shark spotters they're really effective when the visibility of the water is good, but generally speaking, sharks would, because they ambush predators, would prefer slightly murkier water. So when the shark spotters are not seeing them, then you would think that there would be more shark attacks in murky water. But as you can see from Muizenberg Beach, I mean, today there are probably 100 people in the water, and there's no real danger. I had an interesting experience here about 2 years ago. I was on my stand-up paddleboard, which gives you a bit of height above water, so you can see into the water. And because I've got a really trained eye, I made out the shape of a shark that swam underneath the board. It was quite hard to distinguish, So it was easy to see understand that the shark spotters wouldn't have seen it. And I also know sharks' behavior, and I could see it was just lazily swimming through. You know, it was not really in any kind of feeding mode, it was just curious. And so I paddled after it, and I followed it. It swam underneath maybe 20 or 30 surfers, and no one knew. I mean, they could not see the shark, and there was no stress, there was no alarm bells, and the shark swam off out of the pattern and on its merry way. Unfortunately, sharks have this terrible reputation of man-eaters. As we get to know more and more about sharks, we know that this is not true. And this is so apparent here in a place like Muizenberg, where the surfers and the sharks coexist quite happily.
The Ocean Adventurer crew sets off around the Cape of Storms on their mission, but it's not long before they're sidetracked by a pod of dolphins. These ocean lovers never pass up a chance encounter like this, and they take a quick dip before they go off to meet their adventurer. It's also a good opportunity for Roddy to get in much needed free dive practice.
I've had a lot of encounters with dolphins while surfing. So I've been, if you surf up and down the east coast of South Africa, we get big schools of dolphins running up and down the coast, but then, you don't really get to see them underwater. So it's a completely unique experience when you see them underwater.
Heavyside dolphins are usually more timid than their friendly cousins, but hopefully they're in the mood to play today. Endemic to the west coast of southern Africa, these small cetaceans track the Gold-Benguela current from the coast of Namibia down to the Cape. They may share their dark colouring with orcas, but differ so wildly in size and behaviour that the two are never mistaken. At an average length of 1.7 metres and weight of only 70 kilograms, it's easy to see why. They feed on fish like hake and kingfish and the odd octopus. Preferring shallower waters less than 100 metres in depth, small pods of heavysides are often spotted close to the shore.
It's been a dream of mine to dive with the heavyside dolphin. They are so special, so small. They look more like porpoises than dolphins really, and they're endemic to South Africa, so they're like our national dolphin, basically.
Heavysides ahead. Okay, neutral.
I thought we were going to jump in the water and the dolphins would disappear immediately. And we got in and I didn't see anything. And then all of a sudden a dolphin came shooting past in front of me.
Hey Roddy, what are you seeing?
Wow, that was incredible. The dolphin just swam past like half a meter in front of me. It came in so fast. It just came flying past, didn't turn, it came around on the other side.
I don't know if you can tell, but Roddy's having fun.
It's fun to do anything with Roddy because he's very easily entertained, but I think he really appreciated having dolphins want to play with us like they did. They were really curious and really playful, and it was so awesome just to see him embrace that and see him experience these dolphins for the first time.
Wow, that was incredible.
I think in general surfers are incredible watermen and they have an incredible understanding of the ocean, but they don't often go below the surface and actually see what's down there. So with Roddy, it's amazing just to see such an incredible surfer and waterman who's experienced so much of the ocean actually come down and see what's going on below.
It was an amazing experience to get in the water with Hanley, to follow her around because she's pretty much talking to the dolphins the whole time. So that's quite a unique experience. I've never heard someone sort of singing to call the dolphins in, and they really liked it. It seemed like they wanted to come and play.
You can see the heavysides leaping clear of the water. What did you guys see?
It was amazing. It was probably like 7 or 8 of them, and they were jumping and interacting.
That was incredible. The water's a little green, but they came so close. The viz was not bad.
Could you see the white markings under the belly?
They're so so beautiful.
The white really shines through when you're underwater. You see it clearly.
Yeah,
Beautiful dolphins, eh?
gorgeous.
Absolutely incredible.
Back on land, Monwa has his eyes on the ocean, but it's time for David to get him out to sea. David's mission is clear. He wants to convert Monwa from shark spotter to shark lover.
Hey, Monwa.
How's it?
How are you? Very good to meet you. This is so cool from up here. I can come to see your place of work and see what you guys see.
Yes, this is what we are about, and this is what we do, and just sit up here patiently and just be on the lookout.
Take me through what happens here on the beach. I mean, do you normally see sharks coming in from the sides, or how would the spotting actually work?
They mostly come from the side. They tend to be swimming right across the bay. And it's very rare where you get them swimming from the deep straight down. You have the surfers laying on the inside and the sharks swimming right on the outside, quite far out. And like 1 or 2 sharks will decide to come in and just have a look and go back and just carry on with its daily business.
You've got such a clear view from up here, so when the guys are sitting in the water, they can't see what you're seeing. So it must be incredibly frustrating if they're not heeding the warning. Have you ever witnessed a shark attack?
Yeah, unfortunately I have. We knew that the shark was there, and we did everything we could. The flags were flying, and all the necessary notice was there, and the guy just ignored our call and carried on swimming. Then he lost his leg, but luckily we managed to get him out of the water, and I administered first aid, and that actually saved his life. So emergency services were on their way, arrived in time, and they took over.
I grew up here surfing in Muizenberg and around the peninsula, but I also spent a lot of time in the water, diving amongst the kelp beds and scuba diving the reefs. I grew up with a different appreciation of sharks. I've seen them always as incredibly beautiful creatures, very efficient apex predators. So I'd love to take you diving to go show you the sharks from my perspective.
Yeah, well, I think I'm up for it.
Awesome.
I think I can give it a shot.
I don't want to drop you in the deep end, so we did some incredible diving last couple of days with some heavy-side dolphins. So what I suggest is you come with us, we take you out on the boat tomorrow, we go find the dolphins, get you used to jumping off the boat into open ocean water near some marine wildlife, something a little bit more friendly than sharks. And when you're feeling comfortable, we'll take you out to the deep and get you in the water with the blue sharks.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So
feel good about that?
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm feeling very good about it, especially the dolphin part.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go do this.
Cool. Well, I had a conversation with my girlfriend about me going to dive with blue sharks. And she just looked at me asking, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm serious. I'm going to do it." I looked at it as something that is exciting to do and something new, never done it before. I think I just needed a bit of a push.
Monwa is about to embark on a life-changing experience.
Ocean Adventure is all about taking what I've gained from the ocean over all the years and finding ways to share that with other people, getting them to experience that. That's my driving passion.
As the ocean adventurer heads out, a thick fog rolls in, cloaking the bay in a hazy shroud.
Navigational warnings and traffic lights. Coastline warning 319. Coastline warning 319.
They're here. They're right in front of Monwa.
Oh, check it.
Monwa, look.
In spite of the fog, David manages to locate a pod of heavy-side dolphins for Monwa to swim with. Unable to see the water clearly has Monwa's mind racing. Are more than just dolphins swimming around out there. Today they'll focus on snorkeling in preparation for his first free dive with the sharks.
David, starboard.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Okay, guys.
Just put the starboard bow here.
Fins, mask, snorkels,
Let's go, let's go.
Woohoo! Monwa, with these guys, try and get in front of them. I'm gonna go down and make little dolphin sounds.
Okay.
And then hopefully they'll come and play with us.
Yeah, let's just hope for that. Monwa, don't forget your weight belt here, buddy. You need this or you're not gonna be able to get down and see the dolphins.
Okay.
Okay. Straight ahead. You've got to try and keep up with Hanley. She's pretty darn fast.
Channel your inner dolphin, Roddy. Channel your inner
I'm
dolphin.
channeling.
Stay close together in this awesome, beautiful
Wait,
fog.
yeah, they're just here on the starboard side.
Wow,
There you
look
go.
at this swell,
Awesome.
you guys. Okay.
All good?
Good, yeah.
Yes,
Awesome. Darby, we're ready when you are. Yeah, engines are neutral.
3, 2, 1, divers away.
With the rubber duck barely perceptible from the deck, Peter is concerned for the diver's safety.
David, the conditions are worsening here. The visibility looks really bad. How does it look where you guys are?
Yeah, Peter, the weather's, the fog's closed in.
But I've still got a visual on the boat, so we're still safe at this point in time, over.
Okay, that's good to hear. As long as you guys feel safe, we don't want to lose anybody today.
Come on, let's go, they're over here.
The excitement was there chasing those dolphins. But I think the most worrying part was the visibility. It was poor. It was so poor, very poor. The furthest I could see was my hand, and that was it. White sharks, they hit by surprise. They camouflage themselves. So that was a perfect conditions for sharks, you know. And I'm swimming there, I'm thinking, do I look like a seal? You know, could this be the time that now I will be mistaken for a seal?
David, can you still see them?
25 meters in front of you guys, keep swimming.
Let's go, Monwa, let's go this way.
I strongly believe if you see a shark, there is a chance of you surviving. I mean, they surprise predators, you know, they hit by surprise, and if you're gonna be taken, you're not gonna see it.
Okay, you on it? Underneath you.
It may be misty up above, but down below the divers are treated to a moment of clarity.
So are you guys actually seeing anything? What's the action like?
Yeah, Peter, we've got the dolphins underneath the guys. They're sort of swimming around them, circling a bit.
Yeah, Hanley's talking dolphin, calling them over, but otherwise, all good. Divers look happy, over.
Okay, if Hanley's talking dolphin, then things are fine.
Monwa, wow, that was amazing, man. Well done.
Cool, hey?
Great dive.
So
Yeah,
cool.
so much fun.
Yeah, dolphins are, yeah, they're a little more approachable than sharks.
Okay. So you say that was your first time?
Yeah.
And you've obviously witnessed, you've seen them 100 times from the lookout tower above Muizenberg there.
Yeah, absolutely, I have.
Have you dreamed of getting in the water with them?
Nah.
Yeah. There's a bit of honesty for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like I had to take it, and I think I realized that I had to challenge myself a little. It's been a while, so...
Certainly not an easy thing coming out here in this weather, in these conditions. We can't see land, we see nothing around us. It's dark, it's misty, the water's dark, it's deep.
I enjoy being in the water, but you know, sometimes your mind takes you places. You know, you start to think, okay, what's around me and all of that. So.
Well done.
Yeah, great job. Jeez.
Steven Spielberg's 1975 action thriller Jaws cast the great white shark in the role of a man-eater, a description it has struggled to shed. Great white shark attacks on humans are rare, and fatalities even more so. Great whites have the largest geographical distribution of any fish. They're common around the coast of South Africa, with population clusters forming around Cape Fur seal colonies. These sharks can reach lengths of between 4.5 and 6 meters and can weigh up to 2 tons. Shark specialist Alison Koch wants to find a way for humans and sharks to peacefully coexist. Her research focuses on how sharks shape False Bay and what would happen if they disappeared.
Alison, you're probably one of the most influential shark researchers in Cape Town over the last decade. And you'll tell us a little bit more about how we're slowly changing people's attitudes towards great white sharks.
I think one of the big problems is the unknown. And the little bits of information that people get are usually around shark attacks and the fearsome side of the white shark. And there's a lot more to the great white. It's a very complex, very intelligent animal. And when I started the research, we knew nothing about the population in Cape Town except that it visited the seal colony and ate seals. But it's very difficult to research an animal that can swim from here to Australia and is quite mysterious in many ways.
And you brought us a sample of a of a tag.
Over the last 10 years, I've tried to identify what the population size is and where the sharks are at different times of the year and why they're coming into certain areas. And so we use technology where we can to better understand where they are and why they're there. And this tag actually is a satellite tag that I put on a 3-meter white shark last year. And I tagged it at Seal Island in False Bay. And 4 months later, it popped off in Mozambique.
Great white sharks do not live in one place permanently. They travel to far-flung feeding and breeding grounds. Tagging has become an essential tool amongst scientists trying to understand these mysterious migration patterns. Research has shown that sharks make epic transoceanic journeys, with great whites tagged in South African waters, swimming all the way to Australia. Freediving with great white sharks is extremely risky in the murky waters around the Cape, so David plans to get Monwa into the water with smaller pelagic species, the blue shark.
The pelagic sharks, like your blues and your makos, are some of the most vulnerable shark species. They're facing some of the most heaviest fishing pressures, with long liners targeting them increasingly so. And the blue sharks and the makos are really interesting because blue sharks are not a very high quality species. In fact, their meat is very low quality, so they're not a desired species, in fact, for fishing. But what happens is that the blue sharks, because they are still being caught so abundantly, their fins get used, and so their meat gets exported perhaps to third world countries, and the fins get exported, and they are profitable. But we do know that from around the world, these species have really suffered significantly from a population level. So it's one of those questions that the Department of Fisheries scientists are working very, very hard on to try and find out what's happening to the population, because they are being targeted so heavily out there off Cape Point.
It's the dawn of a new day. Now that Monwa has a practice dive under his belt, the ocean adventurer heads out 30 miles offshore. Here, the cold Atlantic meets the warm waters of the Indian Ocean, creating fertile fishing grounds, often trawled for hake. It's also a perfect hunting ground for blue sharks. Roddy and David are chumming the water with a mixture of sardines and fish oil to attract the blues to the boat. Not only will this be Monwa's first close encounter with sharks, he's never been so far out to sea that he's lost sight of land.
I can't wait, and the other thing is this, I can't believe that I'm gonna be in the water 35 miles offshore with sharks.
That's pretty wild, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and it doesn't get better than this.
So today we're going to be doing some basic free diving, and the main things are you got to pay attention to what your ears are doing, whether you can equalize the pressure in your ear, what your sinuses are doing, and then you just got to pay attention to your breath. So if first thing first, can I just see how you're equalizing? Gentle breath in, gentle breath out. You can see my nostrils, they've flared out a little bit because I'm just gently pushing through my nose. I'm not using my throat. I'm just gently pressing there. Okay, and just pick your chin up for me. Okay. Yeah, you kind of hear a whoop in your
like
ears.
just basically breathing through your ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay. That's it. So we just need to pay attention to that as we dive down. We're going to make sure we take a very deliberate breath. We're going to take a breath first into our belly, then we're going to breathe into our chest, and then we're going to top up into our shoulders. So it'll look like this. You breathe. Nice and relaxed. And there's going to be a few sharks around us, so you want to make sure you're staying calm. Keep your hands maybe under your armpits. Keep your hands. They don't want to look like minnows.
And what happens when you start charging?
Well, luckily these sharks, these blue sharks, they're really gentle sharks to dive with. You don't have to worry about them charging. They're just going to be slowly cruising around, and they're really curious. So they'll come up and they'll rub their face on you, but they're not. It's not something you have to worry about.
No, it's not something aggressive. It's just out of curiosity.
Yeah, most of the time it's just they want to bump. They want to bump you, see what's going on.
Okay. So you will be right next to me, right?
I will be with you the whole time.
Okay. I think we've got more questions. So like at the moment, there's nothing I can think of. But you're obviously going to be like communicating more while in the water as well.
Sure, we'll get in the water. We'll make sure our mask and snorkel and fins are fitting right. We're not going to throw you into 10 meters right from the beginning. We're going to gradually step it down. So we'll start out. We'll just do a nice easy dive to 2 meters.
I think even if you wanted to, I don't think you'll be able to get me like further than 10 meters, or even all the way to 10 meters.
No, that's fine.
So yeah, I think I'm going to have more fun right on the surface. And
cool. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks to the chum, the sharks are circling the boat. Roddy is becoming more confident in his free diving ability. He's sent in to check the conditions ahead of Monwa.
I was intimidated by sharks, I'll be frank, I'll be honest. I was a little bit scared to get in the water with sharks. It just seems completely unnatural to me. I'm not like Hanley or David, who've done a lot of swimming with sharks. I have encountered them. Most of my encounters have been while surfing, and when you're surfing and you see a shark, it's terrifying. You just want to get out the water immediately. It was a nice sort of controlled environment where you could go down deeper and get to depth. And I found when I was getting down there and I was underneath them and looking up and seeing the light above and the sharks 20 or 30 around at the same time, that was really quite special.
Frequenting the deep, temperate and tropical waters of the world's oceans, these sharks are relatively small in size. The largest recorded measurement is only 3.8 meters. The blue shark has a slender, sleek-looking body with large eyes and a conical snout that is longer than the width of its mouth. Opportunistic feeders, they hunt bony fish and squid and can be found feeding on mammalian carrion. Along with many other sharks, blues are a near-threatened species. If overfishing and unscrupulous shark finning practices are not curbed soon, the population will collapse.
All right, Monwa, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go for it. Any questions?
Nothing now.
No?
Yeah.
We'll see when we
I
get
think I'm
one.
just excited of like just getting out there, and yeah, the rest will follow, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
So.
David has piqued the shark's curiosity. These sleek movers are hyper-aware of his presence, and some of them are coming in a little close for comfort to get a better look.
What else? Yeah. How are you feeling? Nervous at all?
That's how I feel. Can barely breathe, so yeah.
It's just pressing on your...
Yeah, it's pressing on my chest.
We don't need that then, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think my first proper free dive probably happened in a quarry. It's this weirdest thing when you start free diving, that you're encountered with all these irrational fears. So you dive down and you know you have more than enough breath hold to get to 10, 15, 20 meters. But then you feel like a little kid and you're scared of the dark again. But the more I did it, the more you just feel this sense of peace when you're down there. And it's addictive. So the more you experience that, the more you want. We'll give our mask a good spit. I'll help you at the end so that you can
No worries, as long as you're going to remain right next to me.
Yeah, I'll be right with you. We'll be right next to each other. Looking good. Perfect. All right, let's go. You ready? You okay?
Monwa falters at the precipice when he catches a glimpse of the sharks below.
I did have a bit of doubt when we were throwing him in the water with 50 sharks swimming around the boat.
Nevertheless, a few moments later, he takes the plunge. Surrounded by sharks, Monwa sticks close to the surface.
Sure, hey? Talk about being thrown in the deep end.
Absolutely, wow.
It's tough surface conditions though. Like the whole thing with freediving is to relax so much so that you can go down and go look at the sharks. But in these surface conditions, you're literally just like holding on to the buoy.
Looks like they're getting ready for a dive now.
Deep belly breathing. I just want him to relax.
Just got to calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
Not think about the sharks too much. All right.
Wow, that was awesome.
Nice.
Nice dive, Monwa.
Oh, you must be so stoked.
Sheesh, that was awesome.
Interacting with sharks so closely was wow. They actually come to you, they just made it easy, you know. They're so inquisitive, they just want to be around you.
He's doing so well. I mean, he's ever open water dive with 20 sharks around him, 3,000 meters below him. This man's a legend.
Well, holding your breath is not easy. And most of the time, I just got blown away what was around me. And at the same time, finding it hard to remember that I need to equalize. I need to hold my breath. At some point, I find myself laughing under the water. So it was quite challenging because you just get overwhelmed with excitement.
That was good diving, man. Nice job.
Monwa, how was it? How was the dive?
I'm not fit, you know?
What do you think of the sharks?
Yeah, I can tell it's beautiful down there. I think the minute I jumped into the water, it was just there. It just came in, clicked in, and I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, the visibility is beautiful, the sharks is beautiful. What else can you ask for?
That's true, huh?
Monwa, you had some fantastic free dives. Going down the rope, letting go of the rope. First visual always was looking straight at some sharks.
Wow.
Enjoying it and then coming back up again.
Nice.
Yeah, there were so many little blue sharks around you. You have to make sure they're not in your pockets somewhere.
Well, I wouldn't mind them.
How was
with me.
How was it for you having so many sharks right around you? I saw a few swim between your legs. You had a couple swim over your shoulder.
I didn't see that.
Maybe that's a good thing. You did really well. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I mean, it's like with my confidence, being out there, going down and holding onto the rope and looking around was like, I felt like, wow. Like,
I could see you when you went down a couple of times and you just paused there.
Yeah,
then you could take it all in, you know? And you could see the sharks around you and
yeah, that was the
clean
fun
blue
part.
water.
You know, I think with practice and stuff, I mean, I can stay longer.
Yeah.
You know, I can stay longer. Yeah.
It was your first day, you did incredibly well.
For someone like Monwa, who's spent his time up on a mountain, allowing others to surf and play in the ocean under his watch, now he finally gets to come and see what's underwater. And he gets to come play with these just gentle, beautiful blue sharks out here in the deep. I think he loved it. I think that really changed his perception and his appreciation for sharks.
Before this whole adventure, I never thought that I would actually go out at sea, in the deep sea, and dive with sharks. And now I think I'll do it again. Maybe, who knows, maybe I might do it here in False Bay. But one thing for sure, it's not gonna be with the white shark.
He did great. He kept his cool and he was there and he opened himself up to the experience. And judging by his reactions, it was a really rewarding, life-changing moment for him. One of my personal beliefs is you can't really create conservationists by drumming in hardline messages about what is happening to the environment and what is happening to species. Rather, try and create interest and love for animals and the ocean, and you do that by introducing them to these amazing experiences and showing them how amazing the animals really are, or the wildlife is, all the crazy and beautiful, wonderful things you find in the sea. And by creating an ocean lover, you're going to create an ocean conservationist, hopefully.